Good morning and welcome to our webinar. If you don't know us, I'm Vicky and this is Mark and
Morning.
thanks for joining today, and if you watched the last one then welcome back. The plan is we're going to aim for about 30 minutes. We'll have a Q&A at the end and then you can run off and enjoy the sunshine however you like. But if you have got a question halfway through, please pop it in the chat box. Don't feel like you have to wait to the end, and we'll try and cover it as we go. Today, we are talking about the secrets behind generating high quality B2B website leads. So the elephant in the room is that B2B lead gen is getting harder. You've probably seen your website leads drop off, or you're getting leads through. They're either spam, scammers. We've had quite a few of those recently, and they're getting a lot smarter actually. Or they're leads and they're just not the right customer for your business. One reason for that is that B2B buying behavior has shifted massively. So they are researching much more online before they even reach out, and websites are doing a lot more of the heavy lifting. On top of that, the economy is pretty flat. I'm not going to sit here and say that we can fix it. I wish we could. Sorry about that, but I can't do much about that. But it means that buyers are being a lot more cautious about who they're signing with and where they're spending their money. This is obviously a problem if your website is not designed for lead gen, or if it's not designed to build trust with your visitors, because people will not contact you. So many marketers think the solution to this is to get more traffic from their website, which makes sense in a way, but the best way to do that is to get more leads from your existing traffic, because there's no point sending the traffic to your website and then not doing anything with them. So first you need to optimize your website for conversions and convert your existing traffic into leads. And then it's a win-win if you increase your traffic anyway, because your traffic will go up and your conversions will go up. There's a lot of ways to optimize your site for conversions, and we'd be here all day if we went through everything that there is. But I'm going to hand over to Mark, and he's going to take you through 4 of the useful tactics we use with our clients that improve lead generation quality.
Morning, everyone. Right, so get stuck straight into it. So this morning we've got 4 tactics we're going to share with you. These are tactics we've used quite frequently. We've got some examples we're going to show you this morning from a website we've been working on recently where we've used these tactics successfully. So the first one I'm going to go straight into is about where we add proof content near your call to action button. So what I mean is you've got your call to action button there. It's, get a quote, contact us, etc. People are sitting there thinking, well, do I click on it? Do I not? So adding proof content, adding some content next to it that reinforces your credibility, like we work with the top 5 companies in your sector, can increase conversions. It's catching people at the precise time they're deciding whether or not to do that. So, and it works because, as we all know, I think we all know B2B buyers are pretty risk averse. And we're all fighting with them to try and give up their time so we can get talking to them. The proof content reduces that anxiety, that it's like a safety net. So it's just adding a bit more to that call to action that's going to help them click that button. Because when we design our call to action, I'm sure most of you know, we try and design them so they stand out on the page. The eye movement is then drawn to that big button that's off-brand in color, big bold buttons that we put on our website, the classic website lead gen tactics. So if you're putting that proof next to the button, people are more likely to see that content, are more likely to click on that. And yeah, I mean, we've seen this works. I don't know if you've got the example there. So this is a company called Onyx Insight who we work with. They do a lot of software for wind turbine farms. So we've been adding proof content, whether it's sort of outcomes, who they work with, testimonials, those sorts of things, next to the big bold calls to action, and they've been working successfully there. And I follow someone called the CXL Institute, who do a lot of conversion testing, and they've the research they've done shows this tactic can increase conversions by 32%. So I definitely think it's worth you testing on that. And it can be all types of proof. It can be testimonials. It can be, companies you work with. It can be trust badges or outcomes and results that you get for people. So test different types of proof that you've got next to these buttons. One thing I would say is definitely be specific. Don't be vague with any statements that you make in this area. So rather than just say, we work with top companies, top software companies, you say, we work with the top 12 accounting software companies. That's a lot more specific. It's going to make sure your inquiries are a lot better quality. Something I'll be touching on shortly as well. So yeah, be specific, and if you can, link the problem concern to the proof as well, and that really does push up the trust and the credibility, and make people more likely to go ahead and take the next step. So that's tactic one, adding proof content near your call to action buttons. So moving on to tactic number two, and this is about improving lead quality by showing who you work with best. So this is a daily problem for most marketing people. You notice a lead pops up in your inbox. We all get very excited. We all click on the lead, and it's half the time it's spam. It's people saying, do you want to buy inbound links? Do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy that? But also, I mean, they're difficult to get rid of. But the leads that are for companies we don't really fit our ideal profile. They are the ones that this tactic will work best with. And HubSpot research shows, we all know this is a common problem. HubSpot research shows about 50% of leads are a waste of time. So I don't know what your experience is, whether it's that much, whether it's more or less, but either way, this all costs us time, it costs money, it does affect morale as well. So, if we get a load of leads come through, and it's just, they're just not our ideal fit, we start getting down, and we don't want that, do we? So improving your lead quality, at the end of the day, it makes everyone happy, and also gets you better sales figures, which keeps everyone in the company happy. It is a tactic, it's not often used, but talking about who you serve best is really how you get around this. And the best way of doing this is putting that next to your form. So when people click on your call to actions, they go to a form where you want them to fill that out. We've got someone there who's, they're on the edge, that they've gone all the way through your website, they're about to fill in that form. As we know, form drop-offs can be quite high. So this tactic is where you say, this is who we serve best. We help small SaaS companies increase signups. So you're defining who you work with, and you're promoting how you help them. And you put those sorts of statements next to your forms, it does improve the quality of your leads by attracting those ideal prospects, and it deters the ones that you don't want as well. I don't know if we can pop up the example we've got there. So you can see there, we've got in the statement there for Fleet Monitor, Onyx Insights, big software package. We say Fleet Monitor is for operators of big wind turbine fleets. So it's not for the people who might run a few wind turbines off their farm, farmers or small businesses. This is for the big guys with those big fleets of turbines, that you probably see in Scotland off the coast, etc. around here. We've done this for them, and they've definitely reported a lot lower quantity of lower leads coming through. And I think it works because the customer sees how you can help them specifically. They don't have to do any further work to see if you're a good fit. People do have that. We all have that bit of a tribal instinct. We're drawn to connections. We're drawn to people who are like us, who we think understand us. So that's why this tactic does work. And again, it's about, as with all this, it's about reducing that B2B buyer uncertainty and risk at a really vital stage in the user process that we've got them this far. And this tactic does make it the decision a lot easier for them to click on that button, fill out that form. In terms of tips on making this tactic work for you, I think, again, like the last one, be very specific. So target by your industry, by your size, by the problem, the outcome. And you can also say who you don't work with as well. So, you know, we work very well for these type of companies and not for these type of companies that can do as well. That can work well as well. So, and I think don't do vague statements. Things like, you know, we help fintechs get more enterprise customers. That shows you the industry that you work with and the outcome that you get for them as well. So the potential lead that you've got there can see specifically that you're appealing to them, and it's a problem, it's an outcome that you're looking for. And a big bugbear with me is actually just use language that we all use. We all use LinkedIn, I'm sure, and you know it's so annoying. You see so much language, probably half of it's written by AI, but what does it really mean? So just use language that your customers use, that you use when you're talking to people. They'll relate to you more. They don't have to think about everything. I mean, I think there's a big mistake that quite a lot of marketing people make is they think people land on a website, they're going to read everything, they're going to take it on board. They don't. They're skimming. They're looking for the key points. They don't want to have to think about what you're trying to tell them. Be very straight and direct to the point. Even with technical subjects, I know they can be quite complex, but you can still talk technical without being overly complex. And in terms of where you put that statement on your form, as you can see with the example we put it on the left, but I think put it above, put it on the left more, maybe on the right, but it's got to be in a prime position that they can read when they're about to fill out that form. By the way, if anyone's got any questions, please put them in the chat. We are going to answer all questions at the end. Hopefully you got a few. If not, try and think of some. Keep me busy. Good. So moving on, tactic number 3. So this is about generic CTAs. And another big bugbear of ours is when we look at websites and we see those, contact us, get more info, learn more, and they're just not very effective at all. Again, it's just not specific. So, you know, what contact us about what? You know, what info? Get more info. Well, what exactly info do I get? So replacing these generic CTAs with intent-based CTAs is far more effective. And it matches, and if those CTAs match what the visitor wants, like, you know, get your personalized quote, talk to our team of experts, those are far more effective. I think we've got an example on this one as well, haven't we, Vicky? Yeah, no, thanks. So yeah, so this one you can see here, this is Onyx Insight. Their target audience, we know, are engineers and technical people. They want to talk to other engineers. So let's put that into the call to action, talk to our expert engineers. And that's made those call to actions far more successful. They're converting 10-15% more than they were. And good old HubSpot as well, as you can imagine, they've also done research in this area, and their research shows that these call to action buttons convert over 200% better in many cases. So it's definitely worth trialing, I think. And also, if your call to action can be aligned with a form, with the fields that are needed. So if you're saying, get your personalized quote, click on that button, you go to a form, make sure the form is related about getting a personalized quote. So ask for essential details, but perhaps put in 1 or 2 questions you might want to do to help get that personalized quote. Obviously, you'll follow up with a call for that sort of call to action. And I think it works because it specifically matches what visitors are looking for. They don't have to think about it as well. It's less mental energy. None of us want to have to think too much when we're doing this sort of thing. And I think it's the difficulty with this tactic is, well, how do we know what the site visitor wants? Well, what is their intent when they go on the website? So I think one of the things, there's several things you can do to do that. Obviously, you probably know your customers well, so you know the sorts of things they want when they go on the website. So you can talk to sales, you can talk to people answering the phones and the emails, finding out what the most common questions are when potential new clients and customers get in touch. But you can also look at your last 6 months website leads you've had through. What is it they're asking for? Does your call to action buttons, does your call to actions on your website match those in terms of intent? And one of the other things you can do, and it's a strong recommendation for any of this type of work that you do, is just constantly test ones. So big thing we do in conversion rate optimization is A/B testing, but that only really works if you've got really high volume traffic, which quite often isn't the case for B2B websites. So I'm talking about anything that's below about 5,000 per month. Probably A/B testing isn't going to work that well. So the client we showed you there, they don't really have enough traffic for A/B testing. So what we do is we just will test different ones and then just look at the results for those. So in terms of how you test that throughout the website, what we generally do is we'll test one type of CTA on one page and then another one on another page of equal volume and see how they work. And it might be you try one, it doesn't work, this happens, you think, you get excited, you put it on there, but nothing happens. It just doesn't convert as well as you hoped. So try another one. Just keep testing and see which ones work best. And as always with marketing, you think you've hit on a gold mine. All of a sudden you've got the CTA, the leads are flowing in, everything is great, and then it stops working. So again, who knows why sometimes, but things change. So you've got to constantly keep reinventing yourself with website lead gen.
Yeah, and if someone makes a change to one of their CTAs, what's the best time frame to test it over? Obviously, you said you should test one and then the other. Are we talking 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, or is this a
Yeah, it depends how patient the client is, to be honest with you. It's I mean, you can start looking at the results after about a month. So we will make a change and we won't really start reporting those back to at least 1 month. 2 months ideal, depending on traffic. So if you're getting about 1,000 visits a month, you can sometimes start getting a good indication after about a month. If you're getting less than that, some of the more niche clients we've got are getting less than 1,000 visits per month. So it's a bit longer to test those really. So, but if you're doing things like Google Ads and PPC or campaigns, and you're driving traffic to specific landing pages, those can be good. That can be good spike traffic. And if you're doing those campaigns, the tactics we're talking about here today are very good tactics for those sorts of things.
Okay.
Good. Okay, so we're doing well here. So the final tactic number 4, and I've called it sell the meeting. So, and I think the problem we're trying to solve here is the performance of those contact forms, those lead gen forms we all have on our website. So people press on that book a meeting, that book a demo CTA. They get to a very sort of vanilla, very generic form, and it doesn't do that well. Perhaps the visitor gets on there and for whatever reason doesn't fill that in. But the big problem there is the visitor doesn't know what they're going to get when they submit the form. So if all you're asking them to do is just fill, put in your name, your company, your email address, and maybe a bit of information, they don't really know what's going to happen when you get back in touch with them or when they commit to that meeting. And the problem there is the B2B buyers are also quite cynical. They can see the tactics, these sorts of tactics, a mile off. So what they want, again, if we send they're risk averse, we're asking them to give up their time. But what they want to see is exactly what they're going to get when they fill this out. And we all do, if we're going to commit time, And what they want to see is firstly, who they're going to talk to. So, who am I going to talk to? Is it just going to be a salesperson who's going to try and sell me the product? Is it going to be, if it's technical, are they going to talk to a proper engineer? Are they going to talk to a marketing expert if you're selling, like us, if you're selling websites? And they want to know how long it's going to take. So the stuff we know through the work we do, people, especially for that first meeting they're having with you, they are quite reluctant to spend any more than about 30 minutes maybe. But so I'd always recommend saying this is going to take 30 minutes long. We're going to run through, talking about what it is, what the problems you have, what you like from us. And we all know sometimes those 30 minutes, if they're going well, they will stretch over to 60 minutes. So don't be too worried. Some people will say to me, oh yeah, but we're going to need more than 30 minutes to talk to them. Yeah, of course you are. But this isn't about that. This is about getting the lead, getting their trust, and getting a conversation going with them. So I think definitely say how long they're going to, they need to commit to. And then I think they also need to know what they will get. So, and this obviously depends what it is you're talking to them. So if they're talking about a solution, so they come to you with a problem, you'll get with it at the end of that call, you'll get back to them with a clear outline of what it is, how it is you can help them. If they're after prices, you'll get an outline of your pricing in terms of and so they can get an idea of what this might cost. And then also they'll get an idea of what happens next. So after that call, if they want to take it further, what happens next? Do we book a further meeting? Do we do a discovery? Tell them about your process maybe early on as well. You can do that as well at the first meeting, but sometimes I think it's good to put that in there as well. So what happens after the first call?
Timelines and things like that, especially if people are working on schedules and projects, they need to know that.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think it's also important to tell them what won't happen. So we've tried this. As I say, most people know. I think the reality is most people know that the reality is you are selling your product, but they don't want to spend 20, 30 minutes of of an out-and-out sales presentation. They want to know that there's a no obligation thing there. They want to know that this is a discussion. It's not a sales presentation. So we want to talk to you. We want to hear what it is you're looking for. And if you want to know more about us, great, we'll tell you. I think as well is what I always like to do is put some social proof in here, like maybe a testimonial, like we've done throughout all of these tactics here, is put that proof next to it as well. So again, we've got people at a vital stage of the process here. They are deciding, do I fill this form in? So if we tell them what it is they're going to get, what's going to happen, who with, and I think we've got an example of this one, haven't we?
Here's one I prepared.
Yeah. So here we can say, this is the sort of outcome you get with our product. You're going to talk to an engineer, and I think as well, what is good here is, especially here, we're humanizing it. We're showing the name and the picture of the person that they'll talk to. So here we're appealing mainly to engineers, so they can see, the person. They can even look up on the website that will link through to this guy's bio, so they can look to see, and all of that helps. This has really helped to increase the conversion rate of this form.
Yeah, and on forms as well, how long, in your opinion, should a contact form be? Because especially in big B2B companies, sales want as much information as they can possibly get in the first instance, and marketers want it to be as short as possible. So where's the balance? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think there's several ways you can do this. We've always seen the shorter the form is, the more conversions you'll get from it, the more leads you get from it. The longer it is, the less you are. I always say keep it as short as possible. It does depend what you're doing. If you're asking for some details, so get the essentials down, which is your name, your email, telephone number, and company. I think you can certainly put in tick boxes, filters. So if there's several options they're looking at, it might be, you know, a product category. It might be I'm after a quote. It might be I want to talk to a sales engineer about features of your product, those sorts of things. And you can put in some clarification in there. So it might be you can tick in the size of your company. It might be you can, you know, tick box certain sectors that you've got. If you really do want to make it longer, the best way of doing that is to make it more as a process. I think what happens is people don't like filling in long forms. So if they click on your call to action button and the first thing they see is a really long form, they're going to think, oh, it's going to take me ages. Can I really be bothered? Is it that important to me? So, and of course, it's very important to you that they fill it that format. So stage it, so break it up. So stage one, just do the essentials. And then they click through stage two, ask them another 2 or 3 questions. Stage three, maybe another 1 or 2. So they see that progress, and that sort of thing. It's a psychological thing. Is people see it as a short stage of things. So you might start losing people at stage 3. Again, it's about testing, seeing, you know, what works, what isn't. So, you know, you might want to try go to stage 4 and then test it another month, just to do it 3 stages and see how that does the conversion rates. And so, yeah, but definitely don't go for a really long form, asking them everything. Whenever we've shortened forms down, it's always produced really good, successful results. And I always think, you know, it is salespeople also say, well, they want to verify, they want the form to verify the lead for them and give them loads of information so when they talk to them. But it's the job of sales to really do that to a certain extent. Is to all this is doing is getting the lead. You can verify the lead to a certain extent by some of the tactics that we've done here. Not every lead is going to come out the other end fully verified, but at some point, just talking to the customer and asking them the questions rather than expecting them to answer them all in the form is the better way, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So to recap the 4, we've got proof content next to CTAs, tell your users who you work for and who you don't, use intent-based CTAs rather than contact us, and sell the value and expectations better, reduce uncertainty, and, well, tell them what's going to happen, basically.
Definitely, yes.
Throughout these 4 tactics, there's kind of 3 key themes. So the first one is about small changes. So these are small tweaks that you can make, but they do get big results. And especially if you don't have the budget, maybe you don't have the time for a full website redesign, your best bet is to do these things to see the improvements. Secondly, I just touched on it anyway, but is reducing uncertainty at every decision point. As we say, B2B buyers are risk averse. They don't trust anyone, so give them a reason to trust you. And finally, being vague costs you conversions. Name who you work with, what you do, what to expect, what happens next. As I said about a timeline, if your process is someone signs up for a demo and they get a live link in, say, 24 hours, tell them that. Otherwise, if they're like me, they'll be checking their emails every 10 minutes because they want it now. So, you know, you need to be specific. And that is dead on 30 minutes as well. That's impressive.
Hey,
that is
good.
the end of our presentation. If you've got any questions, please pop them in the comment box. We'll be happy to answer them. But in the meantime, there's a big debate at the moment about gated content. So to gate or not to gate sounds like Shakespeare, really, doesn't it? But
yeah, very Shakespearean.
Yeah. Where do you sit on that? Because lots of people say gated content harms B2B leads. It blocks leads from coming through because, you know, they know you're after an email for a contact. So what content should be gated, or if any, and does it work in getting conversions?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is a big question at the moment. It's something we've done a lot of work with. I think the key thing is why are you gating it? So because it depends on what type of content the person is downloading, but not everyone downloading it is going to be a lead as such. So if it's a how-to guide, or if it's an industry update article, a white paper, that sort of thing, just because they want to go and read that doesn't mean they're actually in the market for your product. So my view is you know, what is the value of gating that? So you could gate it to get that data for ongoing marketing, you know, nurturing them with email marketing and other activities. That's the main value of gating it there, I think. Because if you gate, you know, the obvious thing is whatever you gate, you will see a lot less uptakes. If you ungated content gets far more downloads than gated does normally. But I think where it is worth gating is where your content is very much at the end of the funnel. So it's the content that people would want to look at, or tools, etc. they want to use that will help them make a decision. So it might be, for example, on our website, we've got how to produce a website brief with a downloadable template. That is gated because that does give us leads, and we have had many new clients from that tactic. But it can be things like people want to look at a return on investment tool, so which starts looking at actually how your product does perform in terms of you put in your data, and it comes back, this is how much it will save you, this is how much money you can make every year, that sort of thing. So I think that sort of content is worth gating. But again, you know, as I say, I'll always come back to testing. So test different ones that you get, but I really don't think gating the sort of top of funnel content is really worth gating. I think another reason you might want to gate it is just to get an idea of actually who's looking at it, who's gating it. So that might be a good reason to do that more top of the funnel content, because you think, well, we got, you know, 1,000 downloads this month, that's brilliant, but who is it? You know, is it just, I don't know, students, or who's actually downloading it? So gating it maybe for a month might give you a flavor as, yeah, is it our target audience downloading that? And then you might want to take action from there. You know, if everyone downloading it isn't the people you want to be downloading it, why is that? What action can we take on that?
Yeah, makes sense.
I think to gate would be a great headline for the next blog post, Vicky. Yeah.
Stay tuned for our Shakespearean era.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so if no one has any questions, we'll wrap up. So thank you for watching. Obviously, if anybody needs any help with their B2B website, book a call with us. We do complete redesigns, and we also do monthly optimization retainers. If you're not already, feel free to connect with myself or Mark on LinkedIn, because everyone loves a QR code. And keep an eye out for your follow-up email, because I've attached a link in there for our website optimization checklist. It's normally gated, but as a treat for you guys, it's not. So you can use that for like a mini audit on your website. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and I hope you'll be here for the next one. Have a lovely day.
Bye.